I decided that a really important video to do about not just Lyme disease, but any chronic illness, disease, disorder, or anything, or even an injury, anything that is stopping you, especially medically, is how do you stay positive and how do you keep going when things get tough? First of all, I want to point out, unless you can't tell from this camera view, but my eye is very swollen because I have an eye infection, so that's why my left eye is normal and my right eye is squinty and I can barely see out of it, but that's just an eye infection, so it's not really a big deal. But one thing about being positive is that it's impossible to be positive all the time, and that's okay. You can't be positive and happy all the time. Things happen in life. Not everything goes your way. Things that you expected to turn out one way go the completely opposite direction. People disappoint you, things disappoint you, diagnoses, plural, disappoint you. Things in life happen, and it's completely normal to be discouraged. But the thing about positivity is that you can't let all of those discouragements keep pulling you down. There are times when you should be sad, and I think that being sad about something that makes sense, some bad news, a really bad day, really not feeling well or something, or a hard doctor's appointment, or someone who's telling you that you're a faker, which unfortunately many people have been told. Those kind of days to feel down are important because it often helps you to lift yourself back up. And if you keep all those feelings inside of you, you're never going to get to the point of accepting what has occurred and moving forward if you don't address the past. There are a bunch of ways to stay positive. Some things are very simple that I just think of. Some things you can Google that I don't even know of. And then there are some other things that help other people, but I don't find effective for myself because everyone is different. Lots of people fall into depression and anxiety, and that's nothing to be ashamed of, but it does happen. Seeing a therapist or a counselor, there are many different types of mental health practitioners, and they slightly vary in what exactly they do. I don't know many specifics, but psychiatrists, I know they're able to prescribe medicine because they went to medical school. Therapists are more people that just talk, and there's also social workers, and that helps a lot of people because lots of people feel alone when they have a chronic illness. I am the kind of person who does not like psychiatrists, therapists, going to random people and talking to them. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist, a therapist, a counselor, but it is important to have some kind of support to keep you positive. So it's really important to have a friend, a couple friends. You don't have to have 100 friends because you realize that maybe not all 100 friends are real friends. Maybe 3 of them are. You need to keep yourself around positive people to keep yourself positive, and people that you trust, people that you feel comfortable talking to. Finding support is really helpful because you really can't get through a chronic illness by yourself. And if you're married, it's important to have a connection, a really good relationship and connection with your husband or your wife, etc. because it's not easy, and there are many things that go into coping with a chronic illness. One of the things that I do is I have this book, and it says good things on it, and it's just like a regular notebook, and I had Christmas wrapping paper, and I wrapped it with the Peanuts wrapping paper, and I put this little quote on the back that says, "Not every day is a good day, but there is something good in every day." And I would not call this writing in a journal, because I don't write about my day in a journal. I don't complain about things in a journal. I don't have a diary or "Dear Diary, today was horrible." I literally write good things. And the goal is every day to just write down a couple good things that happened. And I write things that I'm thankful for that day and things that I did. Like, I went out of the house to a store that I wanted to, or I got to finally return my bottles for bottle returns to get money off of them. And they can be the simplest things, or they can be bigger things, like when I went to a Josh Groban concert. And I just find that even in your worst days, when you're in pain and you're in bed, there was something good that happened that day. Whether you had a great dinner, you watched a funny show on TV, you talked to a friend, there's something great that happened in that day. So I find that that keeps me really positive. So if you have a chronic illness, you can go on Facebook, since so many people have Facebook, and go in the search bar, and let's say you have ulcerative colitis, and you can put ulcerative colitis support group, and you can find or chronic pain support group. Sometimes people are having bad days and they need encouragement from people who understand. So especially with the Lyme disease group, or multiple groups, there's a couple that I'm in, people understand, and if you're having a bad day, you can just write something and people will respond to you, or they'll give you advice. If I'm having terrible foot pain this day, and someone might give you a great answer. And also on Instagram, lots of people make Instagrams just for their chronic disease story and their lives, and they document it like a blog, but on Instagram. And you can follow people like that and encourage each other, and you can make one of your own. I don't have anything like that, but I do have my Facebook page, which is called Fight Lyme for Life, and that's kind of like a blog and awareness page where I talk about Lyme disease and I share videos. It gives people something to do. Often people who have Lyme disease or whatever illness you have find the page. If you're on Instagram, you can hashtag it. People find the page. People will like your page. And people might ask questions. You might ask questions to them, and it really helps with support. It's really good to have and know a couple people that have gone through or are going through the same thing that you have. Definitely having some sort of hobby is important. Now, it's hard to have a hobby for some people because some people are in a wheelchair and maybe they used to play basketball. For me, I was a dancer and then I couldn't dance, and I'm not a big fan of art, but lots of people like drawing, so drawing is a great thing to do. Find something that you like to do. And one of the things that I really like to do is to just keep up with my Fight Lyme for Life and create awareness for Lyme disease. And you could do community service, people who are in school or in college, being involved in a club, or maybe even making an awareness club if that's something you're interested in. I think volunteering is a great idea for people who are trying to stay positive with a chronic illness, because a lot of time you feel like you've lost control of yourself. You've lost control of your body. You don't know what it's going to do, and you feel just like you can't be in charge of anything and you can't do anything about the situation. And when people do things for other people, it makes them feel good, and it makes them just be happy to give back to other people. And they always say, like, giving is better than receiving, and it's really true, because volunteering, you could volunteer in a million different ways, but that's a great thing to do, and it makes you feel good about yourself that you're doing something that is helping someone else. To stay positive when there are days of ups and downs, and not even completely days of ups and downs. There are days with ups and downs just in the day. Like today, for instance, half the day I was in a wheelchair because my eye was way more swollen than this. I couldn't open it at all. It was like this, and it was really bad. And I have problems with perception with my vision. And then it threw off my coordination, my cerebellum, so I was walking with like one foot over here and then crisscrossing my feet, and I couldn't see in front of me, and I was walking into things, and I needed a wheelchair. Things change so quickly, and you really need something to look forward to and something to make you happy every day. And one thing that I look forward to every day is a simple thing of YouTube. And I like watching the Fry Life on YouTube, so that makes me have something to look forward to. And to just make sure you have some joy in every day, whether it's having a meal with your family, spending time with friends, inviting a friend over, going to an outing if you can. Everyone has their own limits. Watching a Netflix movie and making popcorn. One thing that I really like to do is watching Discovery Life, because they have a lot of medical shows that interest me and help me learn about the medical field. There are so many medical shows, and I'm not in college right now because I'm too sick to go and my cognitive ability isn't there. It's just not there. If you've watched some other videos, I'm on the waiting list to get a service dog, which I'm hoping to get in the summer of 2017, which is really exciting. So watching medical shows on TV, not only are they helping to keep my brain and listening and information, because I'm not sitting in science class or in high school or at college or working in a biology lab, but it's something that I'm interested in. So if you're interested in the medical field, because a lot of people who have developed chronic illnesses find themselves wanting to help other people, I think it's really great, because I feel like I'm learning something, and I watch it and I enjoy it, and it's not for everyone. You have to find what you like and what you enjoy. Another way lots of people like to cope with their struggles, no matter what they are, is through music. And it's fantastic because everyone has a song that they love, an artist they love, a group of songs that they love. I am a huge fan, humongous fan of Jackie Evancho, and also a big fan of Josh Groban. So just listening to their music just relaxes me and makes me happy, and I also like to sleep to their music. Another way to relax and really physically relax your muscles is taking a bath. Adding in Epsom salts makes it even better and helps detox, and it can just make you feel better and not as tense. It's really important to have at least one or two people that you really trust especially when you're having a bad day. Someone that you can go to, text this person, call this person, FaceTime them, and know that you're not going to be judged. The person knows you're not faking your illness. The person's not going to gossip and spread rumors everywhere. It's really important to be able to have that contact, especially if you're not in a setting where you're not working and you're around people, or you're not in high school or middle school where you're around your friends, because some people are out of school, or you're taking time off before college when all of your friends are in college and you feel left behind. So having those couple contacts in your phone that you know, I can text this person, they're going to completely understand me and they're going to be nice and they get it. Or even if they don't get it, they're willing to listen and help you, is really, really helpful. I myself am not a religious person. I don't consider myself to follow a particular religion specifically, but religion does help a lot of people, and keeping faith helps a lot of people in whatever religion you believe in. And if you don't really follow a religion, still faith is important. It doesn't have to be faith in a specific way of being spiritual towards a god or anything religious, but faith that I'm going to get through this, feeling like you're strong and confident. There are so many little things you can do, and just having faith that this is going to work out, or look, this disease led me into the medical field and I wouldn't have any way of becoming a physician's assistant or wanting to become one if I never gotten Lyme disease. Having faith in your doctors, having a good team of doctors is really important, because you want to make sure that they're really supporting you and they're giving you the overall care that you need. You want to be able to feel confident that the care you're receiving is what makes sense, and that people, the doctors, the nurses, the physician's assistants, the nurse practitioners are understanding you. And if you don't feel that way and you feel like your doctor's blowing you off, then I say you give them like 3 chances and then you move on to someone else, because eventually you will find someone who believes you. And it took me 6 years, and now I have a great team of doctors who all believe me. And again, something to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for them every day, because I don't know where I would be right now without those people in my life. Now, you might not be able to do cheerleading or ballet, in my case, or play tennis, or whatever you were doing, or play the piano at this time. But there is something, and maybe you don't know what it is yet, that there's more than one thing in your life that makes you happy. And I discovered that for my 17th birthday as a surprise. My mom got me a fish tank. It's not on, the light isn't on, so you can't really see the fish, but I have a 30-gallon fish tank, and that's given me something to do, because now I'm taking care of the fish. I got to pick out all the stuff. It's also really relaxing. Spending time with animals has been scientifically proven, like your dog or your cat or whatever animals you have, to boost your mood. If you can exercise is a great way of making the feel-good hormones come out of you and literally making you feel better. It's another scientifically proven fact that exercise helps improve mood and decrease depression. there's something that you can find that you enjoy. And it might not be the thing that you've always done. You might need to think and find something else that you really like, because there's a lot of other things out there. I hope this video helped people learn some ways to cope with chronic stress, some basic things to do, and make sure that if you're feeling overstressed or depressed or over anxious to the point where it's not just one day a month, one day every 3 months, and it's like overwhelming your day and your life, to bring it up to your doctor, because that's nothing to be ashamed of. There are many things that can help you regarding therapy, support groups where you actually go and see people, not just like online support groups, like actual meetup support groups that do things at libraries, ways to get involved with the community. And I just hope that this video helps some people find some things to do to get through the hard times of illness and struggle, and know that you've gotten through every day so far, so you're gonna keep that track record. You've gotten through 100% of your hard days, so I think that's pretty good.